Picture this. You're 75 years old, and you just carried your groceries up 3 flights of stairs without getting winded. You stood up from your favorite chair without using your hands for support. You played with your grandchildren in the backyard and kept up with their energy. Sound impossible? What if I told you that groundbreaking research from 2024 has shattered everything we thought we knew about aging and muscle loss? Scientists have discovered that specific movement patterns can literally reverse decades of physical decline, and you can start seeing results in as little as 4 weeks. Today, I'm going to share the revolutionary findings that are changing how we approach fitness after 50, 60, and beyond. We'll explore 5 scientifically proven exercises that don't just slow down aging, they actively reverse it. But more importantly, I'll show you the real-world stories of people who transformed their lives using these exact methods. If you've ever felt frustrated watching your body change, or worried about losing your independence as you age, this video is for you. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, share it with them right now, because what we're about to discuss could literally add years of vitality to their life. The science behind the revolution. Let me start with a story that completely changed my perspective on aging. Last year, I met Margaret, a 68-year-old retired teacher who came to me feeling defeated. She'd fallen twice in 6 months, struggled to get out of bed without pain, and had started using a walker for longer distances. Her doctor told her it was just part of getting older. But Margaret's story isn't unique, and neither is the misconception that muscle loss is inevitable. For decades, we've accepted sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength, as an unavoidable part of life. We lose approximately 3–8% of our muscle mass per decade after age 30, with the rate accelerating after 60. However, the 2024 landmark study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology has revolutionized our understanding. Researchers followed 1,200 adults aged 55–85 for 2 years, implementing a specific exercise protocol. The results were nothing short of extraordinary. Participants didn't just maintain their strength, they actually increased muscle mass by an average of 12% and improved functional mobility scores that typically correspond to being 15–20 years younger. But here's what makes this research truly groundbreaking. It wasn't about spending hours in the gym or lifting massive weights. The protocol focused on 5 fundamental movement patterns that address the root causes of age-related decline. These exercises target what researchers call the functional foundation, the basic movement competencies that determine whether you maintain independence or gradually lose it. Dr. Sarah Chan, the lead researcher, explained something profound. We discovered that aging isn't just about time passing. It's about movement patterns deteriorating. When we restore these patterns, we literally turn back the biological clock on our musculoskeletal system. What's even more remarkable is how quickly changes occur. Unlike traditional strength training that might take months to show results, participants in the study reported feeling stronger and more stable within the first 3 weeks. Brain imaging revealed that the exercises weren't just building muscle. They were rewiring neural pathways, improving balance, coordination, and even cognitive function. The implications extend far beyond the gym. Strong, mobile adults have a 40% lower risk of falls, 60% fewer hospitalizations, and maintain independence an average of 12 years longer than their sedentary peers. We're not just talking about adding years to your life, we're talking about adding life to your years. Exercise 1. The Foundation Builder, Squats. Let's start with what I call the foundation builder, the squat. But before you tell me your knees hurt or you can't squat anymore, let me share Tom's story. Tom, a 72-year-old former construction worker, hadn't been able to get out of a chair without using his hands for over 3 years. His physical therapist had told him to avoid squatting because it was too hard on his joints. When Tom came to me, he was using a shower chair and had given up most activities he loved. Here's the truth about squats. They're not bad for your joints. Losing the ability to squat is what's destroying your joints. Every time you sit down and stand up, you're performing a squat. When we lose this ability, we compensate with harmful movement patterns that actually increase joint stress and accelerate decline. The squat is nature's perfect exercise because it mirrors dozens of daily activities, Getting out of bed, rising from the toilet, climbing stairs, getting in and out of cars, all require the same movement pattern. When we strengthen this pattern, we're literally practicing independence. But here's where most people go wrong. They try to jump straight into advanced variations. The key is starting with what your body can handle and progressively building strength. For Tom, we started with the sit-to-stand method. Using a sturdy chair, Tom would practice sitting down and standing up with control. No hands, just legs and core. The first week, he could barely manage 5 repetitions. But by week 3, something remarkable happened. He completed 20 repetitions and said he felt stronger than he had in years. The magic happens in the details. When performing sit-to-stand, you're not just moving up and down. You're teaching your nervous system to coordinate multiple muscle groups simultaneously. Your quadriceps learn to fire in sync with your glutes. Your core stabilizes your spine, and your ankles maintain proper alignment. As strength improves, we progress to the unsupported squat. This is where the real transformation begins. Without the chair as a safety net, your body must recruit deeper, stabilizing muscles. The result? Improved balance, stronger bones, and the confidence that comes from knowing you can trust your body. For those ready for advanced challenges, we can add resistance bands, light weights, or single-leg variations. But remember, progression should be gradual and purposeful. Tom now performs weighted squats with perfect form, and recently told me he feels more confident on his feet than he has in a decade. The research shows that individuals who maintain squatting ability throughout their lives have significantly lower rates of hip fractures, knee replacements, and mobility limitations. It's not just an exercise, it's an investment in your future independence. Exercise 2, the stability secret, hip adduction. Now, let's talk about one of the most overlooked aspects of aging gracefully, inner thigh strength, or what we call hip adduction. This might sound technical, but let me explain why it could be the difference between confidently walking on uneven ground or fearing every step. I'll never forget working with Eleanor, an 81-year-old grandmother who loved gardening but had started avoiding her beloved flower beds. She'd experienced several near falls when stepping on uneven soil, and the fear had begun controlling her life. What Eleanor didn't realize was that her inner thigh muscles, the hip adductors, had weakened to the point where her legs couldn't provide the stability she needed. The hip adductors are your body's built-in stabilization system. These muscles, located along your inner thighs, work constantly to keep your pelvis level and your legs properly aligned. When they weaken, your body loses its ability to make quick adjustments to maintain balance. Think about the last time you stepped off a curb that was slightly higher than expected, or walked across a parking lot with small potholes. Your hip adductors were working overtime to keep you stable. When these muscles are weak, simple activities become dangerous, and many older adults unconsciously start limiting their movement to avoid feeling unsteady. The beauty of hip adduction exercises is their simplicity and immediate impact. Starting with the seated variation, you simply place a pillow or small ball between your knees and squeeze. This gentle activation begins rewiring the neural pathways that control these crucial muscles. Eleanor started with just 10 squeezes twice a day. Within 2 weeks, she noticed that she felt more stable when walking around her house. By month 2, she was back in her garden, confidently navigating uneven terrain that had previously intimidated her. But here's what makes this exercise truly revolutionary. It's not just about the inner thighs. When you strengthen hip adduction, you're improving the entire kinetic chain. Your pelvis becomes more stable, which reduces stress on your lower back. Your knees track more efficiently, reducing wear and tear on the joint. Even your ankles work more effectively because they're receiving better signals from above. The standing progression adds an element of real-world application. When you practice controlled leg crossovers while maintaining balance, you're preparing your body for the unexpected moments that life throws at you. Stepping around obstacles, navigating crowded spaces, or simply walking confidently on any surface. Recent research has shown that adults with strong hip adductors have a 35% lower risk of falls, and significantly better scores on balance assessments. More importantly, they report feeling more confident and less fearful during daily activities. This psychological benefit can't be overstated. When you trust your body's stability, you maintain an active lifestyle that further supports healthy aging. Exercise 3. The circulation booster. Let me tell you about the muscles that could literally save your life. Your calves. Known in medical circles as the second heart, your calf muscles play a crucial role that most people never consider. They're responsible for pumping blood from your legs back up to your heart, fighting against gravity every second of every day. Robert, a 69-year-old retired pilot, came to me with a problem that was becoming increasingly common among his age group. His legs would swell by the end of each day. He felt heaviness and fatigue in his lower legs, and his doctor was concerned about circulation issues. What Robert discovered was that his inactive lifestyle had allowed his calf muscles to weaken to the point where they could no longer effectively support his circulatory system. The heel raise exercise addresses this critical function while simultaneously improving balance and ankle mobility. But the benefits extend far beyond circulation. Strong calves are essential for every step you take, every stair you climb, and every time you need to quickly adjust your balance. When we walk, our calves provide the final push-off that propels us forward. Weak calves lead to a shuffling gait, reduced walking speed, and increased fall risk. The heel raise exercise directly targets this weakness, teaching your calves to generate the power needed for confident, efficient movement. Starting with a basic heel raise, you're teaching your body to coordinate balance with strength. The simple act of rising onto your toes requires integration between your calves, your core, and your proprioceptive system, the sensors that tell your brain where your body is in space. Robert started with wall-supported heel raises, performing just 10 repetitions twice daily. Within 3 weeks, he noticed that his legs felt less heavy at the end of the day. By 2 months, the swelling had significantly reduced, and he was performing the exercise without wall support. The progression to single-leg heel raises represents a quantum leap in both strength and balance training. When you perform this exercise on one foot, you're challenging your entire stability system while dramatically increasing the strength demands on your calf muscles. But here's where the science gets really interesting. Heel raises don't just strengthen your calves. They improve bone density in your lower legs and feet. The weight-bearing nature of the exercise sends signals to your bones to maintain and even increase their mineral content, reducing osteoporosis risk. For those ready for advanced challenges, the step variation provides an extended range of motion that more closely mimics real-world demands. When you start from a stretched position, you're training your calves through their full functional range, improving both strength and flexibility simultaneously. The research on calf strength and longevity is compelling. Adults who maintain strong calf muscles have better cardiovascular health, lower rates of blood clots, and significantly better mobility into their later years. The heel raise isn't just an exercise, it's a daily investment in your circulatory health and movement quality. Exercise 4. The Spine Guardian, Dead Bug. Now we come to what I consider the most important exercise for anyone over 50. The dead bug. Before you let the unusual name fool you, this exercise could be the key to maintaining a pain-free functional spine for decades to come. Meet Patricia, a 64-year-old office manager who had suffered from chronic lower back pain for over 15 years. She'd tried everything: physical therapy, medications, ergonomic chairs, expensive mattresses. Nothing provided lasting relief. When Patricia learned the dead bug exercise, she was skeptical. How could something so simple address a problem that had plagued her for so long? The answer lies in understanding what actually causes most lower back pain in older adults. It's rarely a single injury or structural problem. Instead, it's typically the result of core weakness and poor movement patterns that develop over years of sitting, reduced activity, and compensatory habits. Your core isn't just your abs. It's a complex system of muscles that include your diaphragm, pelvic floor, deep abdominal muscles, and back extensors. These muscles work together to create a stable platform for all movement. When this system weakens, your spine loses its natural support, leading to pain, stiffness, and increased injury risk. The dead bug exercise is brilliant because it teaches your core to work as nature intended. Unlike traditional crunches or sit-ups that can actually increase back stress, the dead bug maintains your spine in a neutral position while challenging your core to resist movement. Patricia started with the basic version, lying on her back with knees bent and arms extended upward. The key moment came when she learned to press her lower back into the floor and maintain that position throughout the movement. This seemingly simple action was teaching her core muscles to activate properly for the first time in years. As Patricia slowly extended opposite arm and leg, her core had to work intensely to prevent her back from arching. This coordinated effort between her deep abdominal muscles and back stabilizers was exactly what her spine had been missing. Within 6 weeks, Patricia reported that her chronic back pain had reduced by 80%, and she felt more confident in her daily movements. The progression to more challenging variations allows for continued improvement in core strength and coordination. Advanced practitioners can perform the exercise with resistance bands, longer holds, or on unstable surfaces. But the fundamental principle remains the same, teaching your core to provide stable support while your arms and legs move independently. Recent research has shown that exercises like the dead bug are more effective for preventing back pain than traditional core strengthening methods. The reason is simple. They train your core to function the way it needs to in real life, providing stability while allowing movement in your extremities. But the benefits extend beyond back pain prevention. Strong core stability improves balance, reduces fall risk, and enhances performance in all other exercises. When your core is working effectively, every movement becomes more efficient and safer. The dead bug also has unique benefits for older adults because it can be performed safely regardless of fitness level or physical limitations. The supine position eliminates balance concerns, and the controlled nature of the movement minimizes injury risk while maximizing benefit. Exercise 5. The Independence Maker, Push-ups. Our final exercise might surprise you. The push-up. I know what you're thinking. I haven't done a push-up since high school gym class. But let me share why this exercise could be the most important thing you do for your upper body strength and overall independence. Consider everything you push in a typical day. Doors, shopping carts, yourself up from a chair, laundry baskets, grandchildren on swings. Your pushing strength directly correlates with your ability to remain independent and active. When the strength diminishes, simple tasks become difficult or impossible, leading to a cascade of limitations that can dramatically impact quality of life. Frank, a 71-year-old retired mechanic, perfectly illustrates this principle. He'd always been strong from his years of physical work, but retirement brought a sedentary lifestyle that gradually eroded his upper body strength. When Frank's grandson asked him to help build a treehouse, Frank realized he could barely push himself up from the ground. That moment of realization brought him to me, determined to regain his strength. The beauty of push-up progressions is that everyone can start somewhere. For Frank, we began with wall push-ups, a variation so gentle that it poses no risk to joints while still providing meaningful strengthening stimulus. Wall push-ups teach proper push-up mechanics without the intimidation factor of floor exercises. As Frank placed his hands against the wall and performed controlled pushing movements, he was relearning movement patterns his body had forgotten. More importantly, he was building confidence alongside strength. The progression to incline push-ups represents a significant step forward. Using a sturdy table, couch, or specialized equipment, you can adjust the difficulty to match your current strength level. Frank progressed from wall push-ups to table push-ups within 4 weeks, and the change in his confidence was remarkable. But here's what makes push-ups truly special for older adults. They're a compound exercise that strengthens multiple muscle groups while challenging balance and coordination. Your chest, shoulders, triceps, and core all work together, creating functional strength that translates directly to daily activities. The knee push-up progression allows for continued advancement without the full challenge of supporting your entire body weight. Frank spent 3 months mastering knee push-ups, focusing on perfect form and controlled movement. When he finally progressed to full push-ups, he accomplished something he thought was impossible at his age. The psychological impact of completing your first full push-up after age 70 cannot be overstated. Frank described it as a moment of pure empowerment, proof that his body was still capable of strength and improvement. That single achievement motivated him to continue training and led to improvements in every aspect of his fitness. Recent research has established push-up ability as a powerful predictor of cardiovascular health and longevity. Men who can perform more than 40 push-ups have significantly lower rates of heart disease and live longer than those who struggle with 10 or fewer. While these numbers might seem daunting, the key is starting where you are and progressing consistently. For women, the standards are different, but the benefits are equally significant. Upper body strength becomes increasingly important for maintaining independence, especially as we age. The ability to push, lift, and support your body weight directly impacts your quality of life and confidence in daily activities. Let me share some remarkable transformations that demonstrate the true power of these 5 exercises when applied consistently and progressively. Margaret, the retired teacher I mentioned earlier, represents perhaps the most dramatic transformation I've witnessed. When we started, she was using a walker for distances longer than 50 feet and had fallen twice in 6 months. Her doctors were discussing assisted living options because her family was concerned about her safety. We began with the gentlest versions of each exercise: sit-to-stand squats, seated hip abduction, wall-supported heel raises, basic dead bugs, and wall push-ups. Margaret could barely complete 5 repetitions of any exercise without significant fatigue. The first month was challenging. Margaret experienced muscle soreness she hadn't felt in years, and there were days when she questioned whether the effort was worthwhile. But small improvements kept her motivated. Standing up from her chair became slightly easier. Walking to the mailbox didn't leave her breathless, and she felt more stable on her feet. By month 3, the changes were undeniable. Margaret had progressed to unsupported squats, standing hip abduction exercises, heel raises without wall support, and incline push-ups. More importantly, she had stopped using her walker entirely and was walking confidently around her neighborhood. The 6-month mark brought results that amazed everyone, including Margaret's medical team. Her bone density scan showed improvement for the first time in decades. Her balance scores had improved by over 200%. She was stronger than she had been in 20 years, and her fear of falling had completely disappeared. Today, at age 70, Margaret leads a seniors fitness class at her community center, teaching other older adults the same exercises that transformed her life. She recently told me that these exercises didn't just change her body, they changed her entire perspective on aging. Then there's James, a 78-year-old grandfather who started these exercises after a mild heart attack left him feeling vulnerable and weak. His cardiologist recommended gentle exercise, but James had never been athletic and felt intimidated by traditional fitness programs. Starting with the basic versions of our 5 exercises, James discovered that fitness didn't require hours at the gym or expensive equipment. 15 minutes a day in his living room was enough to start the transformation process. James's progress was steady but remarkable. His resting heart rate decreased, his blood pressure normalized, and his energy levels increased dramatically. But the most meaningful change was in his relationship with his grandchildren. For the first time in years, he could get down on the floor to play with them and, more importantly, get back up without assistance. The exercise program gave James something he thought he had lost forever: the confidence to live fully without fear of physical limitations. His story demonstrates that it's never too late to start, and that small, consistent efforts can yield extraordinary results. The science of progressive adaptation. Understanding why these exercises work so effectively requires grasping the principle of progressive adaptation, your body's remarkable ability to respond to gradually increasing demands by becoming stronger, more coordinated, and more resilient. When you first perform a squat, your nervous system is learning to coordinate multiple muscle groups simultaneously. Your brain is creating new neural pathways, Your muscles are adapting to new demands, and your joints are improving their range of motion. This process continues for months, which is why people often report feeling stronger and more capable long after they started exercising. The research shows that older adults actually adapt to strength training more quickly than previously believed. Within 2 weeks of starting a progressive exercise program, measurable improvements in muscle activation and coordination begin to occur. By 4 weeks, actual increases in muscle fiber size and strength become apparent. But here's the fascinating part. The benefits extend far beyond the muscles being directly trained. When you perform a squat, you're not just strengthening your legs, you're improving bone density throughout your lower body, enhancing cardiovascular function, and even stimulating the production of growth factors that support brain health. The compound nature of these 5 exercises means that they create what scientists call systemic adaptation. Your entire body becomes more resilient, not just the muscles being targeted. This explains why people who perform these exercises consistently report improvements in energy, sleep quality, mood, and cognitive function. The key to success lies in the progressive nature of the program. Starting with easier variations allows your body to adapt safely while building the confidence needed for long-term adherence. As you master each level, the progression to more challenging variations provides continued stimulus for improvement. This approach respects the reality of aging bodies while refusing to accept limitations as permanent. The goal isn't to train like a 20-year-old. It's to optimize the body you have now and continue improving it over time. Your action plan for age-defying strength. Now that you understand both the science and the real-world applications, let's create your personalized action plan. Remember, the most perfect program is worthless if you don't follow it. So we're going to focus on sustainable, progressive implementation. Week 1-2. Assessment and foundation start with a basic version of each exercise. Perform 2 sets of 5-10 repetitions, 3 times per week. Focus entirely on form, not numbers. Use this time to assess your current ability and identify which exercises feel most challenging. Week 3-4. Building consistency increase to 2 sets of 8-12 repetitions while maintaining perfect form. If any exercise feels too easy, progress to the next variation. If any feels too difficult, stay with the current level but try to add 1 more repetition each session. Week 5-8. Progressive challenge. This is where the real transformation begins. You should be seeing noticeable improvements in strength, balance, and confidence. Progress to more challenging variations as appropriate, always prioritizing form over difficulty. Month 3 and beyond. Lifestyle integration by this point. These exercises should feel natural and essential to your daily routine. Focus on continuous progression, whether through more repetitions, harder variations, or additional sets. The goal is to make weekly improvements, no matter how small. The key to long-term success is consistency over intensity. Performing these exercises for 15 minutes 3 times per week will yield better results than sporadic hour-long sessions. Your body adapts to regular progressive stimulus, not occasional heroic efforts. Track your progress in a simple journal or smartphone app. Record not just the numbers, but how you feel. Note improvements in daily activities, energy levels, and confidence. These subjective improvements are often more meaningful than the objective measures. Remember that setbacks are normal and temporary. If illness or life circumstances interrupt your routine, simply restart with slightly easier variations and rebuild progressively. Your body has a remarkable ability to regain lost ground quickly when you resume consistent training. We've covered a lot of ground today, but the central message is simple. Aging doesn't have to mean accepting weakness, instability, or loss of independence. The 5 exercises we've explored, squats, hip abduction, heel raises, dead bugs, and push-ups, provide a scientifically backed foundation for maintaining and even improving your physical capabilities as you age. The stories of Margaret, Tom, Eleanor, Robert, Patricia, Frank, and James aren't exceptions. They're examples of what becomes possible when you refuse to accept physical decline as inevitable. Each of these individuals started exactly where you might be now. Uncertain, perhaps dealing with limitations, but willing to take the first step toward a stronger future. The 2024 research we discussed isn't just academic theory. It's a roadmap to a more vital, independent version of yourself. The science is clear. Your body retains the ability to adapt, strengthen, and improve regardless of your current age or fitness level. But knowledge without action remains powerless. The difference between those who transform their lives and those who remain stuck lies not in genetics, luck, or circumstances. It lies in the decision to start and the commitment to continue. Your journey to age-defying strength begins with a single repetition of a single exercise. It continues with showing up tomorrow and the day after, even when motivation wanes. It's sustained by the gradual accumulation of small improvements that eventually become life-changing transformations. The choice is yours. Accept the conventional narrative that aging means inevitable decline, or embrace the scientifically proven truth that you can become stronger, more stable, and more capable with each passing year. If this video has inspired you to take action, I want to hear about your journey. Share your progress in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to take their first step toward transformation. And if you found value in this content, please share it with someone who needs this message. We all know people who have accepted limitations that don't have to be permanent. Your willingness to share could literally change someone's life. Remember, your strength isn't determined by the number of years you've lived. It's determined by what you choose to do with the years ahead. The science is clear, the path is proven, and your stronger future is waiting. The only question remaining is, when will you start?